Star trails are a wonderful way to get started with astrophotography, and you don't need any fancy equipment to start. In this video, we're just going to be capturing and processing a star trails photo directly on your Android smartphone. The only things that you'll actually need to follow along with this video are your Android phone and some kind of tripod or other way to keep the phone very steady for a long time while we're taking pictures of the stars. And what I'm using in this video is a little smartphone clamp, like a $10 clamp on just a normal tripod. But I've also had great success with a $12 generic smartphone tripod that I got off of Amazon. And that's it for physical items, just your Android phone and a tripod with a clamp for your phone, and that's it. Before we head out under the stars, though, we need a few different apps. So let's go through the apps one by one. The first app is Stellarium Mobile. It is free, and what it does is it puts a planetarium right on your phone. So we'll use it to find the celestial pole, and I'll explain what that means a little bit later in the video. The second app is Intervalometer for Time-Lapse. It's by the developer Mobile Photon. And this app costs $1.99 at the time of recording, but it's worth it, I think. What I like about it is that it seems to work with any Android phone in conjunction with your native camera app. The third app is Star Trails by the developer Slash. It's free with ads, or you can unlock the ad-free experience for $1.99. And the fourth and final app is Snapseed. This app is free, and it's my favorite app personally for editing astrophotography on a phone. With it, we can control things like curves, contrast, saturation, and this is going to allow us to put our final touches to our own taste on our Star Trails photo. Okay, so with all these apps downloaded, the next step is to actually get outside on a clear night, preferably a moonless night. I wasn't lucky with the weather, so I'm actually recording this on a clear night with a full moon. And that just means that the sky in the end result I'll show you here will be a little bit more blue, and it'll be a little harder to bring out the star colors. So if you can do this on the new moon, your result will be better. Your result will also be better the darker your sky is. So if you know of a park where you can escape the city lights, it is worth driving. And I think it's also more enjoyable to be out under the stars in a dark spot. I'm now going to show you every step for how to capture the star trails. And I'm filming this first part during the day so you can clearly see what I'm doing. But of course, when you really do this, you're going to have to do it at night so you can see the stars. The first step is you're going to open Stellarium Mobile, the app. And when you hold it up and move your phone around, you can see what stars are visible in whatever direction your phone is pointed. It uses the phone's compass and GPS. And for your first Star Trails project, I suggest we point at the celestial pole. All the stars will appear to move around this point in the sky because it's the axis of rotation for our Earth. And that is what star trails are. They're the visual evidence of the rotation of the Earth. So to find the celestial pole in the northern hemisphere, it's quite easy. What you can do is you can just click the search option and type in Polaris, and it will lead you to Polaris in the sky. It's at the end of the Little Dipper, if you can see the Little Dipper where you are. In the southern hemisphere, there is no bright star close by the pole, but you do have a constellation that is close called Octans. So you can type in Octans and it will point you in the right direction. Now we need to set up the Android phone so that it's pointing at the celestial pole and will stay put while it's taking pictures. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball Polaris here and get it clamped in to the tripod, and then just make sure it's nice and steady, and then we're ready to go. Next, I want to show you that on certain phones like mine here, this is a Huawei P30 Pro phone, and I've also heard, other than Huawei, this also works on Honor phones. You can simply go to More in the native camera app, then Light Painting, and finally Star Trails. And with this mode, all you have to do is click on the stars to focus, then click the record button once to start, and after an hour or so, you tap it again to stop, and you have a Star Trails image. And I'm not sure exactly which phones have this mode. I know Huawei and Honor, but I'm not sure if any other phones have it. But if you do have it in your camera app, It is super easy, but if you don't have this, if you looked in your camera app, it's not there, no worries, because next I'm going to show you a universal method that's going to work on all Android phones using the apps that we downloaded earlier. Let me tell you a little bit about the sponsor for this video, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is my go-to place to learn something new to me because I find their classes are high quality and they let me learn at my own pace. Right now I'm taking a class called Beginner's Guide to After Effects 2022 Learn Motion Graphics by Hong Shu Gua. And something I really appreciate about Skillshare is how easy it is to skip over the stuff I already know to find the lessons in the class that are really helpful for me to learn After Effects better. And I hope to use these new skills I'm learning with After Effects to make more interesting and engaging graphics in my videos here on YouTube. If you'd like to try Skillshare, I have a special offer for viewers of this video. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the video description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Okay, so the universal method for capturing star trails with an Android phone requires this app called Intervalometer for time-lapse. It costs $1.99. And when you first open the app, you need to do a little setup with giving it permissions because it will control your camera app. But this setup is only required the first time you open it, so it's not that big a deal. The way it works is should prompt you to visit accessibility settings. You scroll down until you find Intervalometer, click on that, flip the switch, and say, okay, I'm giving this app control. Then when you go back to the app, you may get this message the first time. I found the easiest way to get rid of this message and never see it again is just to restart your phone. After restarting, the app should work fine, and here is how it works. You open the app, you pick the camera you want to use it with. I have a few options for cameras on this phone, but you may just have the stock camera app, that's fine. Then click Open Intervalometer and Camera, and it should open your camera app with this intervalometer window on top, which gives you additional options. I'll first walk through the options here in the intervalometer window. For timer, it should suggest the default 3 seconds, and that's fine. That just means when you start, it will wait 3 seconds before actually starting to take pictures. And that's nice because then your first photo won't have any camera shake from you tapping your phone screen. For both the number of images and the interval, I suggest leaving these blank. And when you do that, when you just delete anything that's there, you should see the number 1 in parentheses like this. And if you set it up this way, it will just take photos continuously until you stop it, which is exactly what we want for star trails. This little target button allows you to make sure that the Intervalometer app knows where the shutter button is in your camera app. In all the combinations I tried, it figured this out on its own, so you likely won't have to really mess with this. And the only other button to note is this one. You'll press Start infinity symbol to start taking pictures for your star trails, and then press Stop when you're finished after an hour or two. In your camera app, if you have a Pro mode, you can set the exposure time to at least 2 seconds, but longer is fine too if you have an option to go longer. If you do much longer than like 5 seconds, you might have to play around with the ISO so the pictures don't get too bright. If you don't have a Pro mode, look for a night mode or a fireworks mode. Anything that you think is going to take a longer photo than normal is what you want. And with that done, I have found on modern smartphones, you can then just tap the sky once to focus. If you see a bright star, it helps to tap on the bright star, and it should be able to find focus and lock focus down that way. Some phones also have a manual focus option that can be helpful if you can find it. Once you're in focus, you usually won't be able to see much on screen except for a little pinpoint of light where the brightest stars are. Okay, and then with that all set up, you just tap the Start infinity button here and leave it alone for as long as you can wait. And you don't want to bump it. You also don't want to get any stray light. You just sort of want to leave it alone. And like I said earlier, I think about an hour is a good minimum to aim for when taking star trails. After that time has passed, you can just press the stop button and it will prompt you with this little ad to download some of their apps, but you can just tap away from that pop-up because we're not going to be using those apps. And now you're going to have hundreds of individual star photos on your phone, and what we're going to do next is stack those with the Star Trails app. I have the free version, so I'm going to go into processing options and watch an ad to unlock the premium features. With that done, I'm going to switch to PNG for the save mode, which will be the highest quality, and leave the blend mode set to normal. Then we're going to go to this Pick Images button, and for this you can tap and hold, and then swipe your finger over several images at once. This takes a little practice, but once you get it, it's pretty easy. And it's going to take some time to select all the images that we want. I'm going to stop here at 800 because I think that's enough for this demo. And then when we've selected all the images we want, we just tap Done at the top right. You might get served another ad while it's stacking in the free version, but it's easy enough to X out of that. And it will start stacking all of these images into our final Star Trails image. And it's fun to watch as it stacks them because it stacks them live, showing you the progress as the trails get longer and longer. When it's done stacking, it will save the photo to your phone in the Star Trails folder. And we have one more step in this tutorial, which is to now edit this Star Trails photo to taste whatever you want it to look like with Snapseed. So open Snapseed, tap the big plus button in the middle to open our image, and it should be right there in Recent Images. And the adjustment I like using best in Snapseed is Tune Image. The way Tune Image works is tap and hold, and if you move your finger up and down on the screen, you can access different adjustments. And then once you've picked an adjustment, if you move your finger left and right, you can adjust that live, and it will show you what you're doing right there with a preview on the image. So what I'm trying to do is add some contrast and make the image a little less blue dominated, which again is because I shot this with the full moon out. When you're happy with your adjustments, you can just click the check mark in the lower right, and then you can save a copy of what you've made here, the edited version. So here is my final edit. I think even with the moonlight, it looks pretty cool. The moonlight actually sort of lit up the trees a little bit, and it has a nice wintry look to it. I hope you feel ready now to go out and shoot some Star Trails yourself with your Android phone. Let me know how it goes in the comments. This has been Nico Carver from the Nebula Photos YouTube channel. Till next time, clear skies.